Om Shri Sai Ram. We start today's session with three Omkars.
Om Shri Sai Ram, offering our most humble and reverential pranams at the divine lotus feet of our most beloved Bhagwan. Respected elders and my dear brothers and sisters, a loving Sai Ram to one and all on this Shivratri special occasion of Samarpan. Today, we are blessed to have among us Sri Rameswar Prusty. Sri Rameswar Prusty originally hails from the state of Odisha, where he completed his Bachelor in Technology, securing a gold medal from National Institute of Technology, Rourkela. Post this, and after a brief stint with SR Steel, he was blessed to join the Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning for the MBA Finance program in the year 1996. On completion of the course, Swami handpicked him to serve in the finance division of the Sri Sathya Sai Central Trust at Prashanti Nilayam. He has also served in various departments of the Central Trust, that is, audit, human resources, and projects over the last 23 years. Currently, he heads the engineering section of the Central Trust at Prashanti Nilayam. More importantly, Brother Rameswar considers the 7 years that he spent with Bhagwan in the physical service as the most memorable years of his life. During this period, he spent large part of the day in close proximity to the Lord, basking in his grace and love. On the family front, Brother Rameswar Prusty is married to Dr. Swati, and they are blessed with a son named Arjun Sai. His father and two brothers continues to serve Bhagwan in various capacities at Prashanti Nilayam. I would now request Sri Rameswar Prusty to share his thoughts with us.
Om Sri Sai Ram, offering my loving and humble pranams at the lotus feet of our most beloved dear Mother Sai. My loving Sai Ram to each one of you. I am grateful to Swami for this opportunity of sharing few of my thoughts with all of you, as each one of us make our progress in the spiritual path to go back to him or to become one with him. Wishing each and every one of us a joy ride as we move towards our destination. That's my spirit and wish, that we become the beings full of ananda or bliss. That's what Bhagwan wants us to be. Today's topic for discussion is loving surrender. The two words love and surrender mean a lot to each and every one of us. Love is something on which the creation is based. It is the urge of love to love itself, that it manifested itself in myriad names and forms, so that it could love itself. That's the basic nature of love, to expand, to take everybody into its grasp, to share and care. It is something which is immortal, eternal, with no self-interest, but to love itself. Love is divine. As Swami says, love without duty is divine. Doing our duty with love is desirable, and duty without love is deplorable. That's what love is. What is surrender? Surrender means giving up our sense of self-importance, giving up our sense of pride, or our urge to always have our way of thinking in a situation or in a relationship. Loving surrender is something which means we give up our urge to have our way of things in that spirit of love. That's what is loving surrender. Whenever I have stood in front of the ocean, the vast expanse has always been a surreal experience for me. Number of waves coming in a sequence, merging back in the huge space of the water. The vast expanse of the ocean merging with the vast sky at the horizon. Always felt the ocean is like the Lord, and we are like the small droplets of water. Just like the water evaporates, goes to the sky, forms clouds, which subsequently come down as rain, and the same water moves back to the ocean, meandering its ways through the hills, plains, rivers. It starts as a small droplet, becomes a small stream that joins a rivulet joins a river, and the river's destination is the ocean. The whole purpose is to merge back in the source. The whole purpose is to serve each and everyone who comes in the way. Whole purpose is to give life to the plants, animals, beings. The whole purpose is to cleanse. The whole purpose is to maintain the balance. I feel each one of us is something similar. We are like the droplets which have come from the Lord with a purpose to go back to the Lord, with a purpose to serve all, with a purpose to love all, with a purpose to be happy, with a purpose to become one with Him. Swami very often says the analogy, when the river tries to meet the ocean, it is pushed back by the ocean quite a few times before the ocean allows the river to merge with it. When the river becomes humble and goes underneath the waves of the ocean. It's much similar as we move through this creation, tend to forget our original purpose, tend to forget our source, tend to forget our destination, and in the way we accumulate so many attachments, entanglements, belief with so we start believing things which are not eternal but ephemeral. Our attachment to positions, our attachments to wealth, our attachment to things, those come in our way as we try to go back to home. Similar to the river, we are again pushed back few times till we do the necessary cleansing, till we do the necessary cleaning up of our buddhi or our ways of life, of our thinking, and then we are accepted by the Lord. Well, this is a beautiful analogy of surrender. As it is said, neither wealth nor position nor work or your karma will give you moksha but sacrifice. Na karmana na prajaya dhane na tyage ne kya amritatva manashuhu. So it is the sacrifice which grants immortality. Well, when we think of sacrifice or giving up, I feel, what is that to give up? When nothing is ours, what do we give up? Once Swami says, how do we, develop this feeling of surrender? Listening to the stories of devotees in this path, listening to the stories of others who have tried to do this, it becomes easy for us to get this sense of surrender. Surrender is like accepting each and everything as the will of God. A small instance. Once a student was not well and he could not come for darshan for a few days. And when he came for darshan after a few days, when Swami came near him, he thought he would get some sympathy blessings, some extra blessings from Swami. So he rose up and said, Swami, I had jaundice. Swami says, is it? Chala santosham. For a second he was taken aback. But then as he ruminated, he realized our intention every minute is to see that Swami is happy. Our every prayer, every effort is to make Swami happy. If we had done some work, we would have become so happy if we just showed it and he said Chala Santosam. So if me getting a problem is making him happy, be it. I should accept it. I should be happy about it. Because that's what we always wanted. We wanted Swami to be happy. That is the sense of surrender that we need to cultivate. Swami typically gives us this example, like we go to a goldsmith and we give some gold to make an ornament. We give him the design. I think that's the where we should stop. But sometimes we go beyond. We would like to direct the goldsmith to do the way we want him to do. That's the where all the problem starts. So just as we rely on the goldsmith to make a beautiful ornament out of the gold we give, just as we rely on the barber whom we very readily offer our head, the most important part of our body, we need to offer our life to the Lord without a second thought. Remember another instance? There was a student who asked Swami, what is Saranagati? Swami told, you tell me, what do you understand of Saranagati? The student replied, Swami, I feel it is offering our everything to God. That's what is Saranagati. Swami said, I don't want anything from you. Saranagati means constantly remembering that whatever is happening is good for me. That's what is Saranagati. Swami then asks him, do you know to drive a car? He says, yes. How many gears are there? The boy replies, Swami, 4. There is a front gear, there is a reverse gear, there is a second gear and the third gear. So Swami asks, is there any problem with the gears? Boy says, no. Swami asks again, do you have a problem with the gears of the car? He says, no, Swami. So what is the problem then? The problem is when you change the gears. So how do you manage that? To change the gear, you use the clutch. And Swami says, the gears are like happiness and sorrow, which come alternatively in our life. And maintaining your equanimity when you change gears, maintaining your calmness, maintaining your steadiness, that's what means surrender. Sukhe dukhe samekatva, like you are same whether you have joy or sorrow, success or failure, profit or loss. When you have that, that's what is surrender. That's the feeling of surrender. Next day, this boy was supposed to give a talk. His talk was not that good because there was some problem with the PA system and some other reasons. End of the talk, when everybody has come back to Swami, Swami asked this boy, you didn't Swami tells him, you didn't speak well. And the boy starts feeling very bad. Swami asks few of the elders, how was the talk of this boy? They say, talk was very nice, Swami. He spoke very well. But then Swami says, no, he didn't speak well. He didn't mention about Sharanagati. Actually, the boy was thinking in his mind, my topic was Guru. And how could I speak about Sharanagati? So, I have spoken on my topic. That was the topic given to me. As he was thinking this in his mind, Swami looks at him and asks, Emirani Saranagati, where is your surrender? That's where it strikes to him. Accepting things as they come, that's what is Saranagati. And he should not be feeling bad about things. Once he gets this realization, he sees the beautiful smile on Swami's face, acknowledging his thoughts. That's the beautiful way the Lord takes pains to teach each and every one of us the lessons of life. Saranagati is, or surrender. In this state, you don't have the sense of duality. You don't think you're different from him. Every moment, you are doing every action with a sense of offering to him. Just like when we have a mirror, we have an object, a mirror, and an image. When the mirror is removed, the three things disappear and only one remains. That's what Swami says, like the Lord and the Prakriti and the individual. These are the three things. When the Prakriti is removed, what remains is only one, the Lord. There is no sense of doership or no sense of doing or taking a credit for an action for the one who is doing, the one who is inspiring, to the one to who it is offered. Everything is just the same. Swami says, my mission is to raise the consciousness of man to a level at which he neither rejoices nor mourns over anything. In that supreme state, one is going through rebirth and death each moment. For these acts on and the same, emerging from the formless into form and merging from the form into formless. There is no success of adversity, no joy or pain. When the devotee attains this oneness, his journey towards me ceases, for he will be with me endlessly. That's a beautiful message from Swami. When we have this sense of surrender, every moment is a moment of birth, every moment is a moment of death. You are constantly in that state of form and formlessness. And when we see our relationship with Swami, our love for Swami, our belief in him, he helps us to increase our sense of love for him every day. And he also makes sure that we understand that he loves and he cares. I'm reminded of the beautiful poem or the story of footsteps on sand. When a man looks back at the footprints of his life on the sands of time, he sees two sets of footprints, one of his and one of the Lord's. But during the most difficult times, during the times which were the lows of his life, during the times when he felt he needed the Lord most, he finds only one set of footprints. He begs the Lord, why is it that you left me alone when I needed you most? Why is it that you were not with me when I was going through the most difficult parts of my life? Lovingly, the Lord replies, the footprints that you see are not of those or yours, but they are of mine. I was lifting you in my arms in the most difficult times of your life. That's the Lord who is ever loving, ever caring, and ever, I would say, at our service. The most difficult times in our life, he literally carries us. His denials or delays sometimes make us feel as if he doesn't love us or he is not answering our prayers. But that's the way I understand. He just waits for the right time. There is nothing that he does at a time which is not right. I'm sure each and every one of us will agree to this, that in each one of our lives, Bhagavan has intervened, done things at the right time. Yes, our lack of understanding, our lack of faith, our lack of patience many a times have made us think otherwise. Oh, maybe Swami is not listening to me. Swami is not answering my prayers. Swami doesn't like me. He likes only others, not me. So many things. And that leads us to put so many attributes to Swami. but he is like the one who knows what's right for us, and he will do it only at the right time. The catch here is when we ask something and there is a denial, we need to learn to accept it because he knows what's the right time. When I completed my MBA and was praying Swami for a opportunity to be of service to him, to get a chance to be in the hallowed presence of Prashanti Nilayam, to get a chance to have the blessing of his darshan every day. That's the prayer and the wish many of us had, but we never knew what was good for us. We had the prayer, also we are ready to accept whatever is his decision, whatever is his instruction, but in the heart of heart, we always wished and prayed that Swami gives us an opportunity to be of some service in Prashanti Nilayam. After a few months of prayer, Bhagwan blessed with the opportunity, and the role I had then was in the audit section. Thought arose, why not? I do study something more, maybe do CA so that I can do the audit work better. So one day I may bless and permit, I would like to do CA. Swami gracefully comes near me and says, don't do. For a moment, I was feeling little awkward or little, maybe Swami didn't. That's the time we start getting all doubts. Swami didn't understand. I was thinking that would have been better. We readily don't accept. Immediate acceptance is many times missing with us. But then once he said no, it was final. Later, much later, I realized the importance of Swami's words, because after a few years of audit, I moved to the other sections of the trust, and later my role or contribution has been more in the engineering part, my basic qualification. Being part of large projects like the 6.3 megawatt solar plants or the 50,000 SF square feet area big convention centers or a similar huge research center. So many projects that have happened. Being a part of them, learning has been tremendous, and it has been a satisfying phase. That's the time I realized why Swami had told me not to do CA. So he knows what is best for us. He knows what is good for us. We just need to accept. We just need to follow. We just need to love. I'm reminded of the story of Jatayu. When Jatayu saw Mother Sita being kidnapped by Ravana, he never had a second thought. He plunged into action, fought Ravana, got injured in the process, mortally injured. When I look back, I think he, as the knowledge that he had, he knew that he will not be a match for Ravana, but that never deterred him. For his love for Rama was much more than anything. For that moment, he knew what was right to be done. For he had surrendered himself to the Lord. And that act, or that action, that attempt of his to stop Ravana made him immortal, gifted him with a blessing which even Dasratha did not get. Lord Rama performed the last rites of Jatayu. That's the beauty of surrender and service. When we look back to the stories of Mahabharata and Ramayana, another instance which come to my mind is when Arjuna and Duryodhana go to Lord Krishna to seek his assistance for the Mahabharata war. Arjuna and Lord Krishna is resting. Arjuna goes and sits near his feet, while Duryodhana sits near the head of Lord Krishna. When Lord Krishna opens his eyes, his eyes fall on Arjuna first. He says, I would like to grant Arjuna's wish first, while Duryodhana contests that he was the first to reach there. Lord Krishna then makes the offer that he would not be fighting or taking arms in the war. He would be on one side and his army on the other. We know that Arjuna received the Lord without arms and Duryodhana got his army, and each one was happy thinking of what they got. Here Swami says, you should, and seeing the results of the war, the lesson for us is to seek the Lord, because when you have him, everything else is with you. All the strategies, all the plans, all the knowledge, everything is nothing without the Lord. another incident I'm reminded. When we have this just to say that when we have a sincere thought, a sincere wish, he always fulfills it. It was in the year 99. Swami had taken us to Kodaikanal in the month of April, and my birthday happens to be in the month of May. And I had heard and read in some books that offering a tulsi leaf at the lotus feet of the Lord marks our total surrender to Him. So I had thought on my birthday, since I would get the opportunity to hold some yellow rice and seek His blessings, when I do Namaskar, I would offer the tulsi leaf at His feet. To my utter surprise, the previous day, I got to know that in Kodaikanal you don't find tulsi leaves. Tulsi doesn't grow at Kodaikanal. I was so filled with emotion. I just went to the prayer room and I was just sobbing uncontrollably. I said, Swami, I just wanted to do this and now that's not happening. Well, He knows our thoughts and feelings. That birthday went off without the tulsi leaf. He did bless me with the yellow rice, gave me Pad Namaskar. The next year, Swami was in Vrindavan and I happened to go there for his darshan. That morning, as he came for darshan, he walked straight to me, stood in front of me, no words spoken, all the time given. I could offer the tulsi, take his namaskar to my fill, and then he gracefully moves ahead. It just says when we have a sincere thought, a feeling, that never goes waste. He responds, He answers, He loves, He cares. Sai ke ghar der hai andher nahi is what they say. To me, I feel we should not say there is there, because there is nothing. He never delays. He only gives it at the right time. It's not a delay at all. Because sometimes He tells you beforehand. So when you have not expected something, He gives you. So there is nothing like the delays. It is always at the right time. When I think of this concept of surrender, I am reminded of a Professor Jack Hawley, who used to come and give us talks in the management program. He had said, every great performance, every great act that you see, every great personality or a performer does his hard work, does his practice, makes his attempt, but at the end just leaves it. It's just like the pole vault jump athlete. You give all the effort and just throw yourself up. That's what it is. It's not a linear curve. It's not something predictable. It is not something totally in control. Every great effort, every unique achievement, if we speak to them, the people who have achieved, we'll realize they have just put in their best and then just left it. You do your best and just leave it. Then something happens. Something happens that gives the extraordinary result. Something happens that is unbelievable. Something happens that you never expected. Something happens that happens when you surrender. When you surrender to the moment, when you surrender to the Lord, when you surrender to love, that's what brings the great things. When we see the large activities or the programs that used to happen in front of Swami, or the sports meet time, like every student is just thinking with unison, with one thought, that I please Swami. That's the only thought. And when everybody is thinking that, everybody becomes just one. There are no different thoughts. Like, as I said earlier, in surrender, there are no two but one. Here we may have thousands, but it is only one. When that kind of a feeling or emotion spreads, miracles and magics happen. That's the time we see the great performances happening, magical things happening, unbelievable things happening. So the lesson for us is to accept Him, accept our life, accept things as His blessing, accept and believe that He is with us every moment. He is a witness to every small thought of ours, and He is constantly present with us to guide us and guard us. We should be alert that we don't miss His message. We don't miss His indications. We don't miss His directions. It is very easy to brush them aside as telling them as coincidences. But when we have that sense, we feel Him always, we have Him always, and our life is always full of joy. Just to give another small incident that I am reminded of. No, we are all in that path of understanding Him, loving Him, trying to understand what is love. We have our own weaknesses, own doubts. One day Swami was speaking to some group of students. He was telling various students there's going to be an event, and he was asking each one to speak something. So I was seated little away, around 10-15 feet away. As he was speaking to this and mentioning to the different students what they would be speaking, a thought arose in me, why not me? As he finished talking to the boys and he was returning, he suddenly looked at me and said, "నువ్వు మాట్లాడతావా? నువ్వు బాగానే మాట్లాడతావులే. Do you want to speak? You speak well." He didn't give me an opportunity to respond. He had the question and he had the answer. And he moved on. Just to say that he is aware of the smallest thought we get. In spite of so many things, that so many people's prayers that he was answering, somebody sitting in a corner having a small thought doesn't go unnoticed to him. Another day, my name is like Prusty. So May used to call me as Prusty, and Swami used to most of the time call me Pusti. The R used to be silent. Once sitting in Trai before Swami was coming, this thought came to me. Swami, my name is Prusty, but you are calling me Pusti. That day, when he came for the Trai session, after Trai session, as he was returning, he looks at me and says, Prushti, Prushti, and then moves ahead. Just to say that he is with us always, he is aware of everything, and we just need to understand, feel him, and give ourselves completely to him, so that our life becomes his message, so that every act that we do is done in a way that pleases him, so that he is happy that we are his and we are living up to his expectations. Loving surrender is that surrender that we have the sense of oneness with him, the sense of having somebody with us all the time, having somebody who is protecting us every moment, and giving ourselves completely to that sense of love, that sense of protection, that sense of beauty and bliss. There is, as I quoted from the discourse of Swami, he says it's a constant state of birth and death. Like there is, once you have that, like there is no place to be reached, no goal to be achieved, no target to be met. It is just being in that sense of love and oneness with him. That's what I feel is surrender. That's what I feel we need to cultivate every moment. Today, I don't think he is any less with us than he was prior to 2011. He is, I feel, more with us now. It is only with us to decide how much we feel him, how much we take his guidance, how much we allow him to be the driver of our lives, allow him to work through us and do, so that whatever we do from the time we wake up till the time we sleep, everything is an offering to him, and we don't regret about doing anything. Once we have that sense, no, life becomes much blissful and filled with love. That's what I have been striving for, and it gives me a lot of joy in sharing these thoughts with you. We are nothing in the vast creation of his. That that sense, like, you cannot say that I have done anything. With nothing that we do, it is he who is doing everything. It is for us to just be present and just enjoy what he is doing. Just enjoy the leelas that he is doing every day. Very difficult to say that I have done something, but who are we to do anything without him? Not without him, like, he is the one who is doing. He is the one who is doing everything. He is the one who created out of love. The love is now expressing itself as love. We are a part of that love. Just enjoy being in that love. Don't get distracted. Don't fall into your own entanglements and then start having pain. Just be in that. Flow with the sense of love. Be happy. That's it. That's the goal of life. Because as I understand, our progress in the spiritual path, well, I don't understand the bigger terms for spirituality or Advaita, things like that. But my understanding is how happy I am within, how much happiness, satisfied I am within. That's what makes me takes me as much closer to him. And that's what is loving surrender. With these few thoughts, I will conclude here and would like to listen to you or others, your aspects, your thoughts on this, so that I learn few things from you. Thank you. Sit down.
Saram, brother, first of all, I would like to thank Swami, because ultimately what I think is it is he who's telling or reminding us, or our monkey minds, that it is he who is doing everything, and he is the one who's driving our lives and not we. So just a few incidences which I picked from your talk, like you mentioned about Swami mentioning about the car gears, wherein we have to maintain that equanimity, calmness, steadiness, or be it the Tulsi life incident or the Goldsmith incident, I think, and Sharnagati, as Swami was mentioning about that, to that boy, what is Sharnagati ultimately. So I feel every moment of our life, it is he who is doing it, be it now or be it prior to 2011, he is always present. It is just that we ourselves need to realize that Swami is always there, be it now, be it forever. It is always Swami, and we are just a mere puppet in his hands. So, with these few thoughts, brother, I would like to take up some questions which have come up. One of the questions which have come up is, what should we do to practice the sense of surrender? Any thoughts or tips which you would like to share with all of us?
Yeah, Swami has given that answer as to that boy when he asked what is surrender. Accept every moment, whatever happens is for my good. It is difficult. It's going to be difficult. But as we practice it, it happens. Because why it becomes difficult initially is because we have our aspirations. We want some things to happen in a certain way. We want somebody to react in a certain way. We want something to come in our way. We may want a promotion. We want some wealth. We want something from a relationship. When we have those conditions, no, these are the things we accept, whatever is happening. Like when we are in his service, if we have some thoughts in our mind and he is giving a direction, we'll miss it. Either we'll miss it or we'll wrongly interpret it. Because already I'm having a preconceived notion about something. If I'm thinking that, Swami will come today and he will speak about, he will think of giving, say, clothes to somebody. Just he's coming for darshan and then we are there at his service. And I saw some, some people who have come from a specific location and typically Swami gives them clothes. So when his Swami is coming for darshan, it's there in the back of mind, Swami will tell, let's get clothes and give. Now, if that thought is strongly in me, he may, now if he calls me and tells me, please call XYZ, I will not get it right. I may still think that he's asking me to get the clothes and give XYZ. So what I'm saying is, for us to accept or to have this Saranagati, we need to be open. We need to be receptive, and we need to, as Swami says, accept everything at that moment, happening at that moment as his wish. And just like I told you, when I asked for doing CA, he said no. For a moment, I felt, why Swami, why you are telling like this? You could have told me, I could have done it. No, but then he knows what's best for us. He knows what's best for us. He will do only that and nothing else. And once we practice this, our faith becomes stronger. Because, see, our perception is always limited. Our understanding of things is limited. And we think that is what is all. We have not seen what is there on the other side of the coin. We have not seen what is there on the other side of the story. He is the one who is seeing everything. So he is giving a direction. So accepting every moment, whatever happens, that's what we need to practice. That's the way we can move ahead. Yes. Thank you.
So next question, brother, which has come up is, how do we give the sense of doership of this sense of guilt? That I am the one who's doing. Actually, the mind says, how do we give up this thought?
Now, typically we, as Swami says, you love to take the credit for a success, and then if something goes wrong, you blame it on situation or God. So, if it's again a practice, I would say. Everything, if you see the great men, we have heard the stories of Dr. Abdul Kalam, or, always when his team succeeded, he gave the credit to the team, and if it failed, he took the credit, he took the blame on himself. That's kind of a spirit. Now, every time, if I am successful, I give the credit to Swami. If it fails, that also he will then accept. Constantly, if you are having that thought, everything is his, then that the doership issue will slowly fade away. Everything I do is, success is his. Oh, you did it. Oh, it is only Swami's grace that has happened. I was just happened to be there. We just happened to be there. So many instances. Like, if you see, there are so many students. We just got an opportunity to come and study here. What grade did we do? It's nothing. It's just his mercy and grace that. It's just that. Today, when we are sitting and discussing about him, we are talking about him, we are talking about love, it's again that. It just It's just his blessings. So once we give up trying to take the credit for the good, the blame will, guilt from the wrongdoing also will go off. What he says, no, सुख में सुमिरन सब करे, दुख में करे ना कोई, जो दुख में सुमिरन करे, जो what is that, the सुख में सुमिरन करे, दुख काहे को होए. So have him always, then it's same.
Thank you, brother. There is one more question which has come up. There is a dilemma which someone is having. Surrender is accepting all what Swami does for you is good for you. In that case, where does the question of dharma and adharma arise? Does that mean that anything happening to anyone is to be silently accepted, even if wrong is being done to you?
Correct. Now, it's a what you have asked is a tricky question, in the sense, see, whatever here you're not see, like, accepting every moment doesn't mean inaction. It doesn't mean inaction. Swami clearly says that accepting every moment doesn't mean inaction. Oh, everything is happening with Swami says, why you don't need to do anything? So you are given an intellect, you are given a buddhi, you know what is right and wrong. Given a situation, what is to be done? If you find something wrong, you need to react. I would say not react, respond. You need to respond to a situation. You need to respond. See, like, if you see somebody, some wrong happening, and you feel that's not the right thing to be done, and your intellect, your knowledge, your understanding says that this is not something which is right. So we need to, whatever we need to do, we should do. That will be again, he is again with us. So surrender doesn't mean not acting to any adharmic thing or this one. Like, I feel, okay, if he has put me in that position and he has shown me something happening wrong, maybe he wants me to correct it. And maybe it can happen that I'm able to correct it, or it can happen that the whole process is a learning for me. I may not be able to correct it also. Right. So if I feel, no, if I am there, I should correct it, then again I'm fallen in the trap. And if I feel, the best thing is, I know what is to be done, I do my part, and then leave it to him. That's the best way. Yeah.
There is another question which has come. How do we connect to Swami within us during these times, especially these COVID times which have come up, when we do not have, obviously now, we do not have this physical presence of Bhagwan. So how do we connect to Bhagwan during these times?
Each one of us connects to him. Each one of us has a connection with him. And the question is, how do we connect? I'm sure whoever is asking this has connected to him a fraction of a second or for a minute, sometime or the other. That's why he has loved Swami. So there is the connection, right? Everybody has the connection. It is only now our only effort is to be, how do I feel the connection all the time? How do I remember? That's why Swami says, as they said, why there should be a temple? God is everywhere. Why do we need a temple? Because that's a place where the vibrations are conducive for you to think. And another thing which Swami says is Namasmarana. One great help which Namasmarana does is this. It helps you to constantly be in connection. See, like, if nothing you're doing, your mind should come back to Namasmarana. You're doing something, you're busy in that, fine. Once you're out of that, come back to this. That's when we develop that. Constantly somebody chants Sai Ram, somebody chants some mantra, whatever it is. That is something which helps you to have your connect with him. Each one can choose the way they want and whatever they feel is convenient. Practice helps in that. Yes, because each one of us has a connect. Without that, we won't have come. We won't have raised this question at all. Right. Thank you.
There is a question like, if every action it is designed and executed by a Swami, then do we need to plan anything in our life? or there is no need to plan, as He knows what is best for us. So, what are we supposed to do now?
The thing is, the ability to plan also he has given. The thought of the plan, like I just share. Every morning we have got so many things to do, and morning we wake up and we do our prayers, and then we get so many thoughts. That work can be done that way, that can be done that way, that can be planned that way. So who is the source of all that? He is the one who is prompting us. He is the one who is guiding us. So sometimes we plan consciously, sometimes it happens unconsciously also. Like for most of my experience, and that's with many others also, most of the things that we would have done in a day, the next day early hours, we get ideas about how to tackle them, how to handle them differently. I think that's the time we are more receptive, intuitive to receive the intuitions, probably, and we get directions or thoughts. Just like once I was about to share these thoughts when last 2-3 days, that's what I've been thinking, and then he has been, thought comes, yeah, this is something and that is something. So yes, we make an effort, we think yes, this is to be done, and then it doesn't mean that we don't plan. We need to plan. Yes, we need to plan. At the same time, he will also give you the I would say the intuitions of how to execute the plan. First of all, is the plan right or wrong? Is it as per the accepted norms of morality, satya dharma? And every time, like each one of us know what is right and wrong. We know what is right and wrong, and once we go on strengthening that, doing what we know is right and not doing what we know is not right, then it 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 slowly strengthens your thought process and helps you to plan, and at the same refine your plan. And sometimes you may change the plan also. Every moment anything can happen. Who knows? You cannot say that I planned and Swami won. Well, that's what is. Who knows? Every moment what's happening. Thank you.
Being more loving is constant practice. How do we develop that love at all levels, in all situations, for all? Since loving God is easier than loving all. This is one of the questions which has come.
Yeah, loving God is easiest, and to love everybody is becomes much easier when we start seeing God in everyone. If you start seeing God in everyone, you will love everyone. Loving somebody doesn't mean that we love his actions, that we love the way he's doing things. No, I love him. That we never hate somebody. We may hate or disagree with an action or an idea, but we can never not love somebody. We can never hate anybody, because everybody is his image. His this one. So when you are saying that it is easy for me to love God, it is very easy to love everybody, because everybody is just his image or his different forms. Like sometimes, many times, this is something which I remember. People have the belief, if you're going and the cat crosses on the way, it's not auspicious. But then every time a cat crosses, I feel Swami is in that. So I never feel anything. I'm just sharing. Like if it is when it is easy for us to love God, it will be easy to love everybody. Yes, that doesn't mean that we say that whatever he's doing is right. Yes.
Brother, earlier devotees used to ask Swami if something can be done to know his approval, and he was there physically. Now, how do we know if some of the decisions we take is this as per Swami's wish or no?
Yes, I think in the last few years of his life, Bhagavan slowly withdrew physically. Probably was training each one of us to, to feel him within us. Uh, the way I have understood or practiced this is, you know, we get various thoughts or ideas. Some thoughts gives us more energy, gives us more love, makes us feel more empowered. And there are ideas, or you want to do something, and when you think of it, it gives you energy. Yes, this is the right thing, I should do it. That's he is just, that's the way what's right, what is wrong. There are, when you want to do something, when the thought of it only is taking away your energy, then just don't do it. So he is guiding us that way, in the sense, like, he has given him umpteen examples. He has done so many things, and every time also another beautiful lesson that we need to see from his life. The beautiful huge projects that he has done. No, none of the projects he started with having the money for them. When he started water project, Swami didn't have money for it. So when Swami started the super specialty, he didn't have the money for it. So he has shown us that if you have a good thought, you have a good intention, it will happen. It will happen. So that's the way I say it. When you think of action, when you think of a project, when you want to take up something, when it is nice, you will only you'll be feeling nice to think about it. So he's within you, he's around you, he's just prompting you. Go ahead.
So if we are listening to Swami's bhajans every time, rather than doing any kind of other spiritual practices, is it that will be our one kind of spiritual sadhana?
Yes, why not? You're listening to Swami's bhajan rather than doing any other thing is always this one. And there what I would say is, listening to bhajans every time as we go along. Just like as he said, no, you read Swami's discourse. Every time the same discourse gives you new meanings. Every time the same bhajan gives me a newer joy. Every time the same bhajan gives me a newer meaning. That's the kind of a feeling I should be, rather than mechanically just listening. It is going on and I'm listening. I should be fully in that, and then I reap the benefit of it. Swami says you take up anything. It could be namas, prana, it could be bhajan, anything for that matter. No, that's the way we connect to him. So doing only bhajans is also fine. Not doing bhajans is also fine. If you're able to just chant repeat his name, that's also fine. Nowhere can we say that just because somebody doesn't attend bhajan, or because somebody doesn't come to a service activities, is anyway less than anybody else. No, it's not. These are tools which help in that direction. They just don't define our spiritual progress. Yeah.
One question which has come up is how to know or distinguish that it is just an emotion with attachment, or it is just our action.
Just our
action.
Could you repeat the question?
So how do we know, or we can distinguish that it is just an emotion with attachment, or it is just our action that we are performing?
Okay. Because here also I have the same yardstick. Any action that we do, it is, if that is gives me that feeling of empowerment or feeling of joy and love, that's what is this one. Sometimes in the spur of a moment, sometimes we are angry or something. When we react, we make mistakes, yes, but if we are composed, we don't react, but we respond. So that is a subtle thing which we need to practice and get it.
One last question, brother.
Yeah.
Any experience that changed your life, or you may like to share that Ganesha experience that you experienced when Ganesha appeared and spent the entire day with you?
any experience that changed my life, I think, as Swami says, it is every moment. Maybe this talk also is changing me. Uh, yes, maybe I would say the first time I saw Swami when I was a lad of maybe 9 years old, and physically, and that started uh, the love story, and each day has then been a uh, saga of learning, and not that it has been always smooth, because we are not uh, as I said, we need to accept. Our degree of acceptance varies, right? I have learned it the hard way. So I would say every every day in his presence, every day today is also he's with us and guiding us. And the Ganesha experience was, yes, it was a nice experience, and you all know it. Uh, but like every day, every moment is life changing. And the first time we I saw him, maybe I would say that was the best. Of course, subsequently, when he gave the opportunity to spend more time in his presence, yes, and that's the whole, in the whole process, like he has helped me in this, what I shared with you all, to just to remove our conditions to God, to to accept him, to surrender to him, and then be joyful. That's something he has been teaching. Yes, thank you.
Just one typical question which has come up, brother. I had to
Yeah.
take this. I want to know how to handle ethical dilemma, especially from the corporate world. My conscience tells me to do something opposite what my boss wants me to do. So how to handle this situation?
Yeah. I think this is something which is common,
Yeah.
and uh, we will tend to get into it. Uh, my suggestion for this would be to remove this thought that I will get into that problem. Okay, that's the way I have handled it. Because our thoughts are powerful. Whatever we think, those things get attracted to us. You know, if I start thinking that I'll have an ethical dilemma, I will have it. Okay, I mean, that's the way I have seen it, and that's the best way. That think that you'll not get it, you'll not get it. And also, even if I get into that, I will assume that my boss will not do the wrong thing; he will do the right thing. That will take another 50% of the problem. And if nothing happens, still you are sometimes you are in a position and you are to follow an instruction. Maybe that you need to take a call on that situation. We can never have a black and white for this. No, you know, dharma is something. It changes with the time, situation, and a context. And what we know with our understanding as an ethical dilemma may not be that. See, like if Vasishtha cut the cow and fed the guests, we will say that is unholy. But then he knew the context, rightly. So every time to think that my boss is ignorant, I only know things, that's also not right. And best is to start with, just here, uh, start thinking that the other person will do good. He will do good, at least with you. That's the way I have experienced in my life. I start thinking, no, he is a good man, he will do good, and as far as his relationship with me or his working with me will become that. Thoughts are powerful. Just practice that. It will help a lot. Thank you.
Once again, thank you so much, brother, for taking out time and sharing your thoughts with us. I think today we are going much, evolved, as we have got some learning, and every session gives us a different aspect. Thank you so much, brother, once again.
Pleasure is mine.
We will end this session with Samastaloka.
समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय। साई राम।